In today's video, we are going to be exploring all the different icons that you have in front of you when you are the organiser or the presenter in a Teams meeting, so a live lesson if you like. So this is what your screen will look like when there are more participants, so perhaps 30 children in a class. You will have a list of all of the pupils down the side here. This is just a dummy meeting, so obviously I don't have that many people with me. So if you hover the mouse over each icon across the top, it will reveal what that icon does. Now it does present itself differently on different devices. This bar might be along the bottom, some of the functions might be hidden behind an ellipsis. So just figure out where your toolbar is and what more actions are available to you when you press the ellipsis. If you're on a mobile device, a tablet or a phone, the device functions might be limited for you, so this is only for those presenting on a laptop or a PC. So this one is reveals the participant list. If you click next to a pupil, they have an ellipsis and you have more options. Here's where you can mute a participant, so if they've unmuted and you want to mute them again, you can click on mute participant. You can't unmute them, they have to unmute themselves. If you ever did want to allow somebody in the meeting to be a presenter, to perhaps share their work, you can make them a presenter. If you click spotlight, their window becomes highlighted for everyone in the meeting. Perhaps if they were talking at that moment in time, you might want to spotlight them. It just creates a window around their little screen. Pin simply pins the pupil or the attendee, whoever it is, to the top of the list of participants. Perhaps if you wanted to keep an eye on whether they were muted or not, whether they were active, that type of thing. And then self-explanatory, then you can remove people from the meeting by clicking this. Perhaps if a pupil didn't know how to leave, or if you wanted to remove them, you have that power there as you are the organiser. The next icon at the top then says show conversation. I would call this a chat function if you like. The attendees and you as the organiser can chat back and forth during the meeting itself, during it being live. They can tag you, they can tag other people, they can ask questions. This is quite good for ensuring best practice if you want every single child to contribute. They could all type an answer, they could all answer yes or no, they could all enter an emoji that conveys their confidence in the task you've just explained. So it's a really good way to get everyone participating. I have found so far that this option isn't available on mobile devices, unfortunately, particularly on phones. People might find it difficult to access this feature. When that fails, then I like to use the next feature. It says raise hand. So if you press this, you get a notification in your participant list that somebody has their hand up, indicating perhaps they agree or that they want to talk. And then they get a yellow hand next to them on the screen to indicate that their hand has been raised. It's really important that people who raise their hand click it again to lower the hand, and then the notification is removed. If they don't do this, their hand remains up for the rest of the lesson. So just to show you again, if a pupil puts their hand up, it highlights them and they get a hand next to it. And again, they need to click lower hand. It's always important to remind them to do that afterwards in order to remove the notification. For the next icons then, you've got control of your own camera and of course your microphone. So at the moment my microphone is on and my camera is off. We know it's off because it has a strike through it. If you did want to turn the camera on, you'd simply unclick this to remove the strike and your camera would come on. And again, to mute yourself for whatever reason, you would click on muting. Now perhaps the most important function for distance learning is the ability to share your screen as an organiser. So if we click share screen, we have several options here. We can share the entire desktop. So those attending your meeting will see your desktop exactly as you see it. So anything open at the bottom, any programs, if you've got emails open in a browser, everybody in that meeting will be able to see your desktop as you see it. So it's just important to bear in mind if you've got things running in the background that everyone in the meeting can see your desktop. A window then, pretty self-explanatory, shows a window that you click on and doesn't show the desktop in its entirety. You'll know the window is being recorded because it has a red box around the window on its own. PowerPoint then is where you can play your PowerPoint within your meeting. It's quite a good idea perhaps to enter the meeting early and preload them. So here are some PowerPoints I've used before. If you want to use a new PowerPoint, you simply click Browse, and then you would find the PowerPoint as you usually would, whether it's on OneDrive or stored on a USB stick or on your device itself. You would just go to where it's saved and then you can open it. If the PowerPoint is particularly large, it can take a while to load. So if you're loading a PowerPoint live in a lesson, it's important to bear in mind that it can take a while to do so. The last option then here we have is the whiteboard function. This brings up a live whiteboard that can be interactive and that you can draw on, you can write upon. You can have different colour pens, you can remove the pens, so on and so forth. It does take a little while to load on my device. This is really important, so if you want everyone to be able to draw on it, you can click Collaborate, but if you wanted to just be you as the meeting organiser, if you click Present Whiteboard, only you can edit it, nobody can draw on it while you are using it. And then if you click Present Whiteboard, you can select what colour pens you want, and as these icons would suggest, you can erase them again, you can type, and then obviously remove it. Quite good perhaps if you were presenting some calculations, maybe you can draw freehand, or if your device is touchscreen, I think you can draw on there perhaps with varying accuracy, so maybe it's preferable to leave sort of live annotations to a different application, perhaps PowerPoint. To end your sharing of content, then you'll see here that if I click it again, it gives me the options to share. So when I am sharing, if I share a window, for example, it shows there that this is the window that I'm recording and presenting. There's the red box around it, and if I want to stop presenting, because I brushed across the top of the screen, it said stop presenting there, or I can click this square with a cross through it to end presenting. So now nobody can see my screen, they can just see the icon that I have for me as I have my camera off. Lastly then, to leave the meeting, obviously you just click leave. If you're the meeting organiser, it's really important that you click end meeting, because this ends meeting for everybody. If we explore this ellipsis then, it has lots more options available to us. It is really, really important that if you haven't set up the meeting options prior to entering the meeting, you set the safeguarding policies. So setting up a lobby for people not to be able to bypass it means that attendees wait in an area and then you have to accept them in one by one. So if you put who can bypass the lobby, only me, nobody can enter the meeting until you give them permission to do so. Announcing when callers join or leave just tells you that someone's left. It can perhaps be quite good for seeing if someone's purposefully left or if they've been cut off, to know that they're in the lobby again waiting to come in. This option here, I would say, is perhaps the most important: who can present. So the screen recording options that I just demonstrated to you, it is really important that these are selected to only me if you don't want people to be able to commandeer your screen. If you select everybody, then at any point anyone in the meeting can take over the screen and display what is on their screen. Lastly then, allow attendees to unmute. So at the moment this is on, so anyone in the meeting can unmute at any point. If you wanted to be the only one whose mic was available, if you click it off, it's really important when you've got these set up as you want them that you click save. This is the only way that they will apply to the meeting. You can then remove this option by clicking the X. If we have a look at background options then, so again we're using this ellipsis to bring more information for us, and we've got apply background effects. Now if I just quickly turn my camera on for you to see this. So we've got a blur option, which of course just blurs the back of your window. You can preview, this means that nobody else will see it. There we go, and if you apply and turn on video, when you appear on the screen your background has been blurred. There are some pretty standard backgrounds. Again, just remember to click apply so that it changes your background for everybody else. And then if you wanted to use a standardized background that perhaps you've created yourself, you would click add new and then select the background from where you've saved it, and here I've preloaded one. Again, make sure it's selected and then click apply, and then the new background appears behind me. Just going to turn my video back off for the last part. So all of these icons at the top then are our functionality within Teams. If you did want to record the meeting, you can start recording there, obviously letting everyone in the meeting know that you're about to record, and bearing in mind that it posts to the channel when you have finished, so everybody in your team can view what happened. I'm just going to end the meeting here by clicking end meeting, and then it asks you if you're sure you want to end the meeting for everybody, because I'm the organizer, and then I can click end.